It was past midnight when I first heard her screaming from the other side of the fence. HOA Karen, of course, the type who treats every little detail of a neighborhood like it's her personal kingdom. But this time she'd gone too far. My pool, my private escape, had become her latest obsession. And somehow she thought she had the right to dictate when I could swim. No splashing after 8. No lights at night. No late-night fun. Her voice carried like a drill through the calm of my backyard. I froze for a second, unsure if I'd woken up to a nightmare or a comedy show. I had tried everything before. Polite notes, friendly reminders, even showing her HOA guidelines that clearly stated the pool was mine to use. Nothing worked. Karen thrived on control, and the more I pushed back, the louder and more ridiculous she became. That night, staring at the glimmering water under the moonlight, I realized words weren't enough anymore. If she wanted to control my life, I'd just have to outsmart her. By the time I got out the tools, it was quiet again. The neighborhood had gone to sleep, blissfully unaware that the battle of the century was about to unfold in my backyard. I decided it was time for a pool she couldn't touch. Not legally, not physically, not even psychologically. I needed a solution so clever it would make her jaw drop while keeping my sanity intact. I started sketching plans on a napkin, a night-only pool, lights that only worked after dark, jets that hummed under moonlight, a privacy screen no HOA rule could challenge. Every inch of it would be designed for me to reclaim my nights without worrying about HOA Karen's lectures. It wasn't just a pool, it was a statement, a silent, shimmering declaration that my backyard was my domain. As I dug into the project, bucket by bucket, wire by wire, I could already imagine her face the next morning. The predictable outrage, the frantic calls to the HOA, the endless complaints. But this time, she'd be too late. Too late to stop the lights from glowing at midnight. Too late to stop the jets from splashing under the stars. And most importantly, too late to take away the one thing I had fought so hard to keep, my freedom. By 2 a.m., the skeleton of the night-only pool was taking shape. I paused, staring at the half-completed water, shimmering under strategically placed moonlight lamps. A smirk crept across my face. Karen might try to interfere, but by the time she realized what I'd done, it would already be too late. Morning came, and with it, the first wave of Karen's predictable fury. I was sipping coffee on my porch when I heard the unmistakable shriek that could only belong to her. She was pacing back and forth, arms flailing, her face a mix of disbelief and indignation. "What did you do?" she shouted to no one in particular, her voice echoing across the neighborhood. I couldn't help but grin. The night-only pool wasn't finished yet, but the mystery was enough to drive her up the wall. By mid-morning, her rampage had escalated. I watched from behind the fence as she marched toward the HOA office, waving her hands like a conductor directing chaos. Complaints were filed, emails were sent, and yes, she even tried to corner the property manager during a lunch break. But the rules were clear. The pool was mine. I had double-checked every clause in the HOA handbook, every tiny paragraph about shared spaces and noise ordinances. There was nothing she could do. Meanwhile, the night-only design gave me an unexpected advantage. During the day, the pool appeared deceptively ordinary. A casual passerby would see water, a deck, and lights turned off. Nothing to suggest anything unusual. But once the sun dipped and darkness fell, it transformed. Glowing jets, soft underwater lighting, and strategically placed privacy screens created a sanctuary that was mine alone. It was almost magical, almost poetic. Karen, of course, didn't see it that way. She spent hours pacing around my property, trying to figure out what had changed. She inspected the wiring, the deck, even the pool chemicals. Nothing made sense to her. Every attempt to document violations ended in frustration, which only fueled her obsession. I started to notice a pattern. The more she fixated on the problem, the more creative I became. A motion sensor here, a timed light there, even a small, gentle mist that made the night glow like a secret lagoon. By nightfall, I was ready for the first test run. I slipped into the pool as the streetlights dimmed and the neighborhood quieted. The water sparkled under the soft, hidden lights. Jets hissed and twirled, creating ripples that danced with the moonlight. For the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of triumph. A quiet victory over Karen's relentless interference. This was my space, my rules, my freedom, and she couldn't touch it. As I lounged on the pool steps, I caught a glimpse of Karen's silhouette near the fence, staring like a hawk, muttering to herself. She had no idea what awaited her when the true night came. And trust me, the night was only getting started. That night, I finally unveiled the full magic of the night-only pool. As darkness fell, the lights came alive, soft, glowing, and hypnotic. Jets twisted and sparkled like liquid stars, and a gentle mist hovered over the water, reflecting the moonlight. The backyard had transformed into a secret oasis, one that existed purely for me. I could hear the faint hum of the neighborhood settling down, unaware of the spectacle happening just beyond their fences. Karen, however, was wide awake. I knew because of the subtle shadow flitting near my fence. She had clearly camped out, determined to witness or sabotage whatever outrageous thing I had done this time. But that was exactly what I wanted. Her obsession had become a tool, and I planned to use it carefully. Every motion sensor, every timed light, and every cleverly hidden water jet was designed to reveal itself. Just when she thought she'd caught me, the first signs of her reaction were priceless. She fumbled with her binoculars, squinting at the water as if it were some kind of alien artifact. Then came the muttering, almost a whisper. "This isn't legal. They can't allow this." I sipped my drink, leaning back on the pool steps, and let her frustration build. Every frustrated gesture, every confused turn of her head, was a reminder that I was in control. My pool, my rules, my night. By midnight, her antics reached a new level. She tried to call the HOA again, but I had anticipated her moves. The property manager, already fielding half a dozen of her previous complaints, politely informed her there was nothing actionable in my backyard. Karen's fury was visible even from a distance. She stomped, waved and yelled, completely ignored. It was almost theatrical, watching her spiral as my pool quietly glowed under the moonlight. I even added a few last-minute features to push her over the edge, a small fog machine that created a mystical haze over the water and strategically placed solar lights that flickered with her movement. It was subtle, harmless, but perfect. Karen couldn't touch it, couldn't argue against it, and most importantly, couldn't stop it. The more she fixated on controlling me, the more magical and untouchable the night-only pool became. By 2 a.m., I was floating on my back, staring at the stars, listening to the soft hum of the water. Karen was pacing outside the fence, wild-eyed, muttering incomprehensibly. I knew this night would be talked about for weeks, or at least in the circles of HOA gossip. But in my backyard, it was peaceful, mine. She could scream, yell, and call, but the night-only pool had declared victory. Some rules weren't hers to make. The following night, I prepared for what I knew would be Karen's final attempt at control. She had spent every waking moment, since the night-only pool came alive, plotting her next move. Rumors in the neighborhood suggested she was gathering evidence, taking notes, even trying to recruit other homeowners to her cause. But tonight, I knew I had the advantage. She was obsessed, predictable, and blind to the one thing that mattered. My backyard, my rules, my night. As the sun set, I flipped the switches. The pool came alive in a symphony of light and motion. Jets sparkled, lights glimmered, and the mist hung over the water like a secret veil. Everything was perfectly timed, designed to reveal itself slowly, teasingly, just as Karen would arrive. And she did, pacing the fence like a caged lion, her flashlight slicing through the darkness, muttering under her breath. This time I had an added surprise. Motion sensors triggered a subtle, cascading sequence. Lights flickered, jets pulsed, and a gentle fog rolled across the surface, creating a hypnotic glow. Karen's reaction was instant. She froze, blinking in disbelief. Her mouth opened, words forming but failing to escape. Every frantic gesture she made, waving her arms, leaning over the fence, stomping her feet, only enhanced the effect. It was as if the pool itself had become alive, an untouchable force that laughed at her demands. I watched from the patio, sipping my drink as Karen's final attempts crumbled. Calls to the HOA went unanswered, complaints bounced back, and neighbors peeked out of their windows, curious but ultimately powerless to intervene. By now, she realized she had no leverage, no authority, and no way to stop the magic I had created. My night-only pool wasn't just a pool, it was a statement, a masterpiece of clever planning and quiet rebellion. Eventually, she gave up, or at least temporarily. Her retreat was almost comical, stomping back toward her house, muttering threats that carried no weight. I leaned back in my chair, taking in the glow of the pool, the gentle sound of water jets, and the soft haze that made the night feel like a private paradise. Victory had never felt so sweet, or so silent. By midnight, the neighborhood was quiet again. The pool shimmered under the moon, my secret oasis untouched, untouchable, and undeniably mine. Karen's obsession might continue, but one thing was clear. Some rules belonged to me alone. That night I realized it wasn't just a pool, it was freedom, creativity, and a reminder that no HOA, no matter how overbearing, could control the nights I cherished most. And as I sank into the warm water, letting the jets massage away the tension, I knew this backyard would never be hers. It belonged to me, forever. Thanks for sticking around to see how I handled HOA, Karen, and my night-only pool. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss another crazy HOA showdown. Drop a comment below and let me know what you would do if Karen tried to boss you around. And give this video a like if you love backyard revenge stories.